Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. Whenever we're researching something that happened in the mid-20th century in town, one of the resources we use is the Ben Swiezynski photo collection. Born in Exeter in 1916, he began his career as a typesetter at several local newspapers, but began taking photos as well in the 1930s. He started his own film company on the side, New England Movie Productions, operating out of the family garage. World War II interrupted his career. He enlisted in the Air Force and flew 58 missions from India to China. Like a lot of veterans, he didn't talk about it much. He returned to Exeter and seemed to pick up right where he left off. He opened Ben's Photo Shop, which sold cameras and developed film, but he continued to work as a photographer. He did portrait work and took pictures for big life events like anniversaries and 100th birthday parties. He filmed and photographed Exeter high school sports for decades. He continued to take pictures for newspapers, most importantly for our story, the local Exeter newsletter. His photos illustrate the history of the town from mid-century until the 1990s. He wasn't the only photographer, but he appears to have been the most prolific. He was called to take pictures of all manner of town events. A lot of them are award ceremonies for civic events. But viewed outside of the local paper, they provide a history of the town. Beginning in the 1950s, the Cold War dominates his photos. Here's one of a prototype fallout shelter offered for home use. People were very concerned about civil defense, and fallout shelters were built all around town. Here's a team of volunteers making renovations to the St. Michael's School basement. They bricked up the windows and installed a generator to run heating and ventilation. We were well prepared for a nuclear strike on Exeter. Politics were as important then as they are today. Ben Swiezynski was there to take pictures of campaign events and prominent people visiting the town. From our perspective, we can always look up what's going on in a photo. Sometimes the same events happen year after year. Take the Lions Club Christmas food baskets. It's been going on since at least the 1930s. Photos can tell us a lot more about people than just the event. In this photo, from the food drive in 1963, we can determine a lot. For instance, there's a man smoking a pipe. Does anyone smoke a pipe anymore? We know what the weather was like that day, kind of cold, with a thin layer of slushy snow, just enough to make things slippery and mess up your shoes. We learned the names of the businesses on Water Street. They're all gone now, but thankfully we have a record of them. We also know that if you bought a turkey for Christmas dinner, it would cost 43 cents per pound if you bought one under 14 pounds, but 39 cents for a larger one, an example of the long-standing tradition of upselling. So there's a lot going on in these pictures. Here's St. Michael Parochial School in 1953. We don't have any Catholic schools in Exeter today. And unlike our idea of what these were like, the kids aren't wearing school uniforms. They all look pretty well behaved, and everything is quite tidy. But then again, it was picture day. A modern classroom would have water bottles on every desk. We didn't worry about hydration back in the day. When the polio vaccine arrived in 1955, Ben Swiezynski was there to take pictures of the first volunteers. Some of these kids were later the first people eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations in 2021. Swiezynski was also on the job when Sputnik passed overhead in 1957. You'll notice that he focuses on the people watching Sputnik and not the satellite itself. He was there for everything, and he served the town in many other ways. He was a member of the Chamber of Commerce. He volunteered for the American Red Cross. He was on the building and founding committee for the Seacoast School of Technology. To help keep the kids out of mischief on Halloween, he showed free cartoons at the town hall. 500 people participated in this peace march, asking for a moratorium on the war in Vietnam in 1969. His devotion to the residents and the town cannot be underestimated. It's not just diarists, journalists, and historians who tell our story. It's also photographers. To see how we use Ben Swiezynski's photos, check out our website, at www.exeterhistory.org.